Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be making a tulle maxi length circle skirt. I'm making it as an overlay to go over my dress that I'm going to wear for my baby shower. And actually, at my baby shower, we're going to announce the sex of the baby. I mean, unceremoniously, we're not doing like a gender reveal in that way. I'm just going to wear a dress color coordinated to the gender of the baby. Blue for boy, pink for girl, you know. That traditional stuff. So yeah, the theme of our shower is like space themed, I guess, like over the moon, like we're over the moon for this baby, kind of whatever. So I just got like a plain colored dress and I wanted to make this overlay with kind of starry celestial fabric. So I thought that since I will be revealing the gender at the shower, that I can finally let you guys know. So at the end of this video, I will be revealing what we're having. So stay tuned for that. Or I guess some of you guys are probably going to skip straight to that part of the video. But for those of you who want to learn how to make the skirt, let's get started. You'll need tulle, bias tape. I'm actually going to be using this satin blanket binding. Well, I'm going to try anyway. I guess we'll see if it works. Elastic, a safety pin, pins, scissors, and thread. Measure your waist size. I'm planning on wearing this over my bump, so I measured accordingly. And then measure the length, basically how long you want the skirt to be. Of course, you want your measurement from where you did your waist size, then down to where you want the skirt to stop. I'm doing a maxi length, so I went all the way down to my ankles. You can do this next step onto paper and make a pattern, but I like to live on the edge, so I just did it straight onto my fabric. Take your waist measurement and add a couple inches. I did about 4 or 5 because I wanted it to look more gathered and pleated at the top. If you're using stretchy fabric, you could probably get away with not adding any extra inches here. Basically, you need to give yourself an extra couple inches so that you could pull it up over your hips or down over your shoulders or however way you put your skirt on. But then obviously if it's a stretchy fabric, you don't really need to do that, but tulle is not stretchy, so if you're using tulle, be sure to add at least 2 inches. Take that measurement and divide it by 6.28. If you don't want to bother with doing the math, then I'll include a link to a circle skirt calculator below. You can just enter your waist measurement and it'll give you your number. So since I wanted this to be a maxi length skirt, I had to kind of get inventive with how I was cutting the fabric. The original idea was to just fold the fabric in half from side to side, then in half again from top to bottom, and then cut out the waist measurement from the corner where the folds meet, and then cut the length measurement from there. When you would unfold it, it would have given you basically a donut of fabric, which I then could have just sewn the waistband up at the top, and that would be the only sewing that would have to be done. Unfortunately, the fabric was not wide enough for me to be able to get a maxi length skirt this way. I guess that's pretty normal, unless you get fabric that's like cut really, really wide or something, but normally fabric doesn't come that wide. I probably could have gotten a mid calf length skirt at most doing it this method, the original method that I wanted to do, but to match the dress that I'm going to wear, I need this overlay to be maxi length. To make this happen, I had to cut 2 half circles and then sew up the sides to make the donut shape. So to do this, I cut my fabric in half. I had 5 yards total here, so each was like 2.5 yards. And then I stacked them together with the embroidered detail facing the same direction on both pieces. If you're just using normal tulle with no right or wrong side, then you don't really have to like make sure that they're stacked correctly, but mine has embroidered details, so I had to do that. I folded them in half again, and from there I marked the fabric. From one of the corners, mark the measurement that you calculated earlier for your waist. Pivot at the corner and keep marking around in a curve like so. I ended up pinning this to make sure that it wouldn't move and slip around too much while I continued the measurements for the length. From this mark, measure down the length that you measured earlier and mark it, working your way around the curve like you did for the waist, but obviously on a bigger scale this time. Then cut it out. And now I have 2 half circle pieces. I laid them together, right sides touching. Again, if you have normal tulle without embroidered stuff on it, then you don't really have to worry about the right sides or wrong sides. Then I pinned up the straight sides and sewed them up. I usually do a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, but here I gave myself 1/2 inch. Then I took my satin blanket binding that I'm going to use for the waistband and measured out the waist measurement plus 4 inches that I had calculated earlier. Before cutting and sewing this up, I decided to try slipping it on either over my shoulders or over my hips, and I found that the extra 4 inches just really wasn't cutting it. It wasn't big enough, and this fabric has no stretch in it whatsoever, so I ended up having to add a couple more inches. I ended up just going with the measurement of the widest part of my body, which is my hips. Or I guess my belly is kind of a contender for that right now, but I went with my hips. Anyway, I cut the waistband as big as I needed to go, and then I unfolded it, pinned it together, right sides touching, and sewed it up a little more than halfway. I folded the band back over, and then pinned it to the tulle skirt, again right sides touching, and then I sewed that up. On the inside, at the seam, you should have this opening for you to slip your elastic into. To do this, take your elastic and pin it to one end of the bias tape. This is just to make sure that it doesn't get sucked into the tube for this next step. Attach a safety pin to the other side of the elastic and thread it through until it comes out the other end. Pin the ends of the elastic together, overlapping them about 1/2 inch or so, and then sew them together. Sew up this open bit of bias tape, and the skirt is done. And now for the part that everyone is waiting for. Well, I doubt everyone, but maybe some of you. And hi, welcome people who skip straight to this part of the video. Here's my completed baby shower look. And that's right, we're having a girl. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I am so excited, slightly scared, mostly excited, which is good. So fingers crossed everything goes well. Here's today's featured project. If you want to be featured here in a future video, then use the hashtag CheslinDIY on Instagram or Twitter so that I can go see your stuff. I love seeing what you guys do. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, the links to those will be down below. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much to my patrons for helping me produce this video. If you like my videos and have learned something from them, please consider supporting me on Patreon to help me continue to make them. It's totally optional. I'll still be making videos either way. It just helps me be able to put out better stuff. A link will be down below, or you can just click up here in the corner.